There was a young man named Theo, a hardworking office janitor who never expected much on his birthday. He lived simply, saved every peso, and rarely bought anything for himself. But there was someone who always thought of him, Lena, his closest friend, who worked long shifts at a small bakery across town. She didn't have much either. Most days, she barely earned enough for rent. Theo never expected a gift from her. He knew how tight life was for both of them. But on his birthday, she handed him a small, unevenly wrapped box. The tape didn't match. The paper had creases. The box was old and reused, but it was wrapped with care. Inside was a pair of cleaned, secondhand leather shoes. Not shiny, not branded. Just simple shoes that didn't even fit perfectly. But Theo immediately knew the truth. She didn't buy them new. She found them, worn and abandoned near the bakery's back door weeks ago. He remembered how battered they looked then, creases, dirt, dried mud. What he didn't know was the effort behind what she gave. How she stayed up after her shift, scrubbing the shoes with an old toothbrush. How she spent hours removing stains, sewing a loose thread, and polishing them with a tiny amount of leftover bakery oil just to give them a little shine. How she skipped lunch twice to buy new laces so they would look decent. How she doubted herself the whole time, afraid he'd think it was not good enough. When Theo held the shoes, he noticed the imperfections. The tiny stitch marks. The faint scratches that couldn't be removed. But he also noticed something else. Effort. Sacrifice. Time someone didn't have, but gave anyway. That night, he placed the shoes by his bed, not because they were perfect, but because someone cared enough to make something old feel new again. The next morning, he wore them to work with quiet pride. Each step reminded him that real gifts don't need to shine. They don't need to be expensive. They don't need to be new. They just need to come from someone who thinks of you, even when life is hard for them. Years later, when Theo eventually could afford nicer shoes, he still kept that old pair, wrapped gently in the same uneven paper. Not as footwear anymore, but as a reminder of a simple truth. Lesson. The real value of a gift isn't in the thing itself, but in the love, effort, and sacrifice behind it. And that's something everyone can feel.